All right, today we are going deep right under the hood of Bitcoin. We're not going to get into the price or the politics. Nope. We're talking about the core technology, the thing that lets a massive global network run with no CEO, no headquarters, and not a single person in charge. It's a network without a ruler, and we're about to figure out exactly how that's even possible.
So that really is the central puzzle, isn't it? If there's no leader, no central company's server calling the shots, what in the world holds this whole thing together? How can a bunch of strangers scattered across the globe agree on anything, let alone secure billions and billions of dollars in value? Let's dive in.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the big idea behind a rulerless network. Then we'll get into the real heart of it, understanding what peer-to-peer actually means. After that, we'll meet the workers of the network, the nodes, and finally, we'll see how it all comes together in the real world.
Okay, part one, a network without a ruler. Bitcoin was designed from the ground up to be a form of digital cash where no single person or group has control. You know, this idea of decentralization, it's not just some cool feature. It is the entire point. But how do you actually build something like that?
Well, the answer? The fundamental architectural choice that makes everything else possible is a peer-to-peer network. This right here, this is the key that unlocks the whole system.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 2, Understanding Peer-to-Peer. Seriously, before we can even talk about mining or wallets or anything else, we have to get our heads around this foundational concept.
So what is a P2P network? Well, to put it simply, it's a network where everyone's an equal. All the participants, which we call nodes, are peers. There's no special boss node, no central server telling everybody what to do. The source material calls this a flat topology, which is just the perfect way to describe it.
You know, think about a traditional bank. That's a centralized network. All the information, all the power, it flows through their central servers. And if that server goes down, the whole service can just stop. But a P2P network like Bitcoin's, it's more like a mesh or a web. There's no single point of failure, which makes the whole system incredibly tough and resilient.
And you know, this whole idea isn't even brand new. You've probably run into P2P systems before without even realizing it. The early internet itself was designed so that all computers connected to it were equals. And I'm sure we all remember file-sharing services like Napster or BitTorrent. Those are classic examples of P2P architecture.
And this really gets to the most crucial point. For Bitcoin, going with a P2P network wasn't just some random technical choice. As our source material puts it, it's the only way to actually achieve its core mission: decentralized control. It is literally the foundation that everything else is built on top of.
All right, on to Section 3. So if all the nodes are peers, are they all doing the exact same thing? Well, not quite. Even in a flat network like this, different nodes can specialize. They can take on different jobs to keep everything running smoothly. Think of them as the workers of the network.
To make sense of the main roles, let's picture the whole network as a giant public library. The archival full nodes, they're the librarians. They keep a full, perfect copy of every book, the entire blockchain. Lightweight clients, like the wallet on your phone, they're the readers. They don't need to hold the whole library, they just ask a librarian for the specific info they need. And the miners? They're the competitors, all racing to write the next page and get it approved to be added to the official library. And hey, beyond those big three roles, there are other really important players. Some of these full nodes, they don't mine or hold wallets. Their job is to basically act as network traffic cops. Think of them as the on-ramps and off-ramps connecting big services like exchanges and block explorers to the main Bitcoin P2P highway.
Okay, for our final section, let's bring all these ideas together and see this amazing, global, leaderless system in action. We've talked about the theory, now let's look at the reality of the network as it runs right now.
So just how big is this network we're talking about? Well, at any given moment, there are roughly 10,000 listening nodes running on the main Bitcoin network. That's 10,000 computers all over the planet, all speaking the same language, all working together to maintain the system. It's pretty incredible.
And what's really cool is the network isn't just one thing. Yeah, the vast majority of nodes run the main Bitcoin core software, but there's actually a healthy diversity of other P2P versions running too. You add in those specialized mining nodes and the service routers we just talked about, and you get this really complex, interconnected ecosystem.
And this right here, this is the answer to that big question we asked at the very beginning. This is what holds it all together. This massive, decentralized web of thousands of different nodes, all playing their specific part, is what validates every single transaction and secures the entire network. There is no boss, because the network
is the boss.
So the huge takeaway here is that a complex, powerful, global system can actually work, and work well, without a central ruler, all thanks to this P2P design. And that leaves us with a pretty powerful question to chew on. If a global financial system can be run this way, what else could be?